Now, to take up the president's agenda after the midterms and much more is Niger Innis, national spokesperson for the Congress on Racial Equality. Also joining us, Gina Loudon, political analyst and member of President Trump's Media Advisory Board. Thank you both for joining us on this Thanksgiving Eve. Thank you. There's the book for Mad Politics. Is there any other kind of politics, Gina, I wonder? It's all mad. And with that,
not today.
Well, and with that in mind, let's begin in Mississippi if we can. The race down there, the Senate race, Cindy Hyde-Smith versus Mike Espy, the Democrat. This was supposed to be a shoo-in for Hyde-Smith. And then she says some things, I believe that was live on camera, that kind of put her in a bit of hot water. Now this is becoming a competitive race. And if I'm not mistaken, the president will be heading down to Mississippi on Monday. If this doesn't go Republicans' way, how bad of a flip of what was once a pure red state, how bad is that for the Republicans?
Well, I don't think it's going to be a loss for the Republicans, actually. I think that probably the polling is actually a little better than it looks just from the media's attention to this race. I think they sense blood in the water since this happened, but I don't think it's going to go that way, especially not with the president going there and doing these rallies for her. We've seen that pull numbers in other races, such as Missouri with Josh Hawley and DeSantis here in my home state of Florida now. And so I think that that's probably how this will go down, and I don't think that the Republicans will lose anything.
All right, I want to move on, and Nigel, I want to talk to you about Nancy Pelosi as leader of the Democrats. You know, Nancy Pelosi is the master strategist. She's a tremendous fundraiser. We know that, and she's held this position, a leadership position, because of all of that. But there is some, you know, in the ranks, some grumblings, if you like. Do you expect her to survive the vote to be the leader of the Dems? And is that good for the Democrats? Because from what we understand, the president would love Nancy Pelosi to have that position.
I think that Nancy Pelosi is treating the socialists with diapers on. I think she's going to put them in their place. I think there's no chance that Nancy Pelosi does not become the next speaker, and she is highly effective. As a movement conservative, my only regret is that our side does not tend to have the ruthlessness that Nancy Pelosi has for the radical progressive agenda that they pursue. No, she's going to easily make it into the speakership. Marcia Fudge out of Ohio was threatening to run against her. She's been co-opted. There was another candidate running against Nancy. They were co-opted. Don't mess with Nancy Pelosi.
But there has been, to follow up very quickly, Nigel, there have been calls among Democrats to have her replaced, to have a fresh face. And there is a division, would you not agree, on that issue?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, there is a Bernie Sanders, Ocasio-Cortez Castro, I call her, out of New York wing, very progressive, socialist, unapologetically socialist wing of the Democrat Party. But Nancy Pelosi is not going to have any problems. I think she's going to probably elevate one or two of them into some leadership or symbolic leadership role of such. But she will be ruling with an iron gavel come January.
All right, Gina, so the Democrats rule the House. What does that mean for the president's agenda? I guess, you know, no repeal of affordable care. We have no new rounds of tax cuts. Do we get, though, a whole slew of investigations and probes and calls for the president's tax returns, for his phone records, for his email records? Are we going to sink into that, do you believe?
Yes, I think we are probably, Ashley. But you know what? Polling has indicated that those issues do not work for the Democrats. In fact, the Democrats warned their own midterm candidates, you'll remember, not to run on those issues, not to bring them up. So when they do, it's not going to bode well for them, and it will bode well for Trump in 2020. Meanwhile, he gets to enjoy the pleasure of a Senate that will probably go his way most of the time. And I think this will make a huge difference in his ability to get things done.
We are already out of time. Time flies. Thank you for joining us on this Thanksgiving Eve. Same to you, Nigel, and to you, Gina. Thank you both for joining us. Really appreciate it. Coming up next, we'll have more.